The year was 2000X. I was just a little kid, barely knew a thing about Mega Man, but that was all about to change. See, report cards had just come in, and your boy's grades were on point, so mom promised me a new GBA game for all my hard work. One shopping trip to the OG, Circuit City later, and I returned home with my first Mega Man title, Mega Man Zero. Strictly because Zero looked frickin' fire. Homie had the long hair, the fresh armor, and the beam sword? Bruh. Little Donchi was elated, but when I tried the game, I got bodied. My years of playing nothing but Pokemon didn't prepare me for this shit, and after like 2 hours of failing at, don't clown me for this, my second stage, I dropped it. Took the L and went straight back to Pokemon. But after only a couple of minutes, I looked back at that lonely Mega Man Zero cartridge lying on my bed. I reminisced about how hype I got when I got my Z-Saber, and thought about what other kinds of weapons I might get. Then before long, I went right back to Mega Man Zero for round 2. Now, did that make me take the time to learn the game and eventually beat it? No, I was a kid. I was impatient as hell and did not like being bad at things. However, ever since then, the Mega Man IP has always had a hold on me. Everything about the series, from the different versions of him over the years, to even the little things like those toy PETs they used to sell, got me hype. And I've always wanted a reason to do a deep dive into the franchise. Well, thanks to YouTube, and the guildmates since they chose this topic, now I do. So today, I'm excited to say that we're doing something a little different on Honest Gaming history. This video is the start of a mini-series where we will go into the lore of every version of Mega Man, beginning with the original Blue Metal hero who started it all. Now, without much further ado, folks, I am the Black Mastadonte, and this is the history of classic Mega Man. It was the 1980s, a time when Capcom mostly made arcade games, but for their newest title, the company hired a fresh team of young talent to take on the project, one of them being one of the most influential people to the Mega Man IP, Keiji Inafune. We'll get more into him later. The actual idea of Mega Man, or Rockman as he's known in Japan, came from Akira A.K. Kitamura. In an interview with Hitoshi Ariga, the illustrator for a lot of the Mega Man manga out there, he goes into what inspired his creation. Also, huge shout out to Smupulations for the translation. I'll leave their Patreon link in the description below if you want to support their website. Anyway, Kitamura first joined Capcom as a graphic designer, but eventually moved to the planning team because game design be lit. When he started working on the Mega Man project, he played a lot of games to truly get level difficulty down to a science. He set up each stage so the player would feel the struggle, but still gain that sense of satisfaction once beating it. And I can tell you personally that he definitely got this part down, because to me, the first Mega Man game is hard as shit. Here I thought that all these years of experience made me, kinda sorta decent at video games, but Mega Man said nah. When it comes to the Blue Bomber himself, Kitamura talked about how he was a huge manga and tokusatsu fan. For those who heard that and thought, the hell's a tokusatsu? Don't worry, I got you. Tokusatsu is a genre in Japanese media that focuses on practical effects. So Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, Godzilla, think that. Funny thing is, I didn't know what Tokusatsu was either until doing this research, so I ended up finding out that I was a fan too. I mean, you guys know how much I love Power Rangers. But as much as I'd like to, I don't really have the time to go into super detail about it, so if you want to watch a good video explaining what it is, I'd watch this by The Bird Without Fear. Back to Mega Man's creation, Kitamura drew from Ninja Captor, Cashern, Astro Boy, and much more to create his look. However, his original idea was for him to be white. His special ability involved him copying the weapons of other robots, so when he gained new forms, the plan was that he'd change color, and the little square thing on his helmet would morph into the shape of that element, similar to the characters in Ninja Captors. This mechanic was the reason why one of his test names was Rainbow Battle Kid. However, the team's programmer, Nobuyuki Matsushima, squashed the idea, and instead recommended that his color just change. With the limited data they had to work with, Kitamura's plan was a little too ambitious. His belief of what it meant to be a hero also came into play with Mega Man's inception. According to that interview with Ariga, the heroes Kitamura thought of were strong individuals who embodied a virtue that we all have in our hearts. But this commitment to said virtue made them loners. Because of this, Kitamura didn't think a warm color would suit their hero. So when the idea of him being white was scrapped due to it stopping him from standing out, the team agreed to make him blue. Another deciding factor in his color choice was that the NES had a limited color palette. Blue was the most usable color since the console allowed for multiple shades of it, so they used that color to both optimize how much data they were using and make him stand out from the background. Capcom eventually settled on naming him Rockman, and his sister would be named Roll, completing the whole rock and roll thing they had going. However, his name was changed to Mega Man elsewhere because the senior VP of Capcom at the time was not a fan of the title Rockman. Sounded like he was about to earthbend some shit. Now we can get back to Keiji Inafune. Kitamura was actually his mentor. He joined the team as a game's director and artist, with his main job being to create more detailed illustrations of the characters based on Kitamura's pixel work. When Kitamura left the team after Mega Man 2, Inafune sort of became the leader. In Mega Man The Official Complete Works, Inafune talked about how working on this game was chaotic as hell, but still fun. The team was filled with extremely creative people who all wanted this project to work. Being in a squad like that made it hard to not get fired up. However, after Mega Man was released in 1987, it didn't do that well, which kinda sucks when it had all those cool ideas. But even with that L, the team decided they were gonna make a second one. Inafune stated they just kind of all agreed that it was gonna happen. Mind you, Capcom did not want this sequel. They originally said no, but they later agreed on it as long as the developers continued working on their other projects. So a lot of the team, including Inafune, was working on separate games while working on Mega Man 2. On top of that, Inafune said they only had 3 to 4 months to develop it. Bro, I don't know game design like that, but I know enough to know that that is crazy. How you only get a couple of months to design a game as a side project? Regardless, Inafune still sees this time as some of his best months working at Capcom. It was invigorating being part of a team where everyone was putting everything on the line for this game to be successful. Ironically, it almost feels like Kitamura created his own tokusatsu hero team. Thanks to their hard work, Capcom dropped Mega Man 2 in 1988. And unlike its predecessor, it did incredibly. Since its release, it sold over 1.5 million units. From then on, the Mega Man franchise continued to grow. And although it's in a very, very awkward place right now, the Blue Bomber is still a household name. But Capcom, for real, can we please get a new Mega Man project? Not like a remake of something that was already done, you know, like a new, completely new Mega Man project. It's been years since Star Force dropped. I can't speak for the whole fan base, but I personally would like something new, please. I mean, with how crazy AI is getting, maybe you could do something with X. I don't know, add something to a story, something we don't know about. I'm just throwing ideas. You could take them if you want to. But with that, before we hop into the lore, I want to lay down a few ground rules. For one, just want to be clear here. This video will only be focusing on classic Mega Man. Don't want any comments asking why I didn't talk about X or Mega Man 0 or any of that. 2. If you thought the Legend of Zelda timeline was convoluted, fam, the Mega Man timeline is a whole different beast. Mainly because so many different spin-off titles came from this IP. And since Capcom never released something akin to the Hyrule Historia to tell us what's the definitive timeline, there are a lot of games that may or may not be canon. Hell, even the ones that we're pretty sure are canon find ways to contradict the continuity. So to be safe, we'll only be going into the games that Capcom actually had a hand in. Licensed games like Mega Man DOS and Rockman Strategy won't be covered in this timeline. To be real though, most of the Mega Man games have self-contained stories, so I wouldn't worry too much about the order or the contradictions. Trust me when I say that you will have more fun with the timeline the less questions you ask. But, Mega Man loreheads, please feel free to correct me about anything in the comments below. I'm not perfect, and any corrections or critiques will help me improve. Now, with all that being said, on to the thrilling tale of the super fighting robot Mega Man. Mega Man's story begins in the 20th century, with 2 gifted robotic researchers from the Robotic Institute of Technology, Thomas Light and Albert Wiley. Their shared focus has made them friends, but the ruthless mistress that is jealousy is about to change that. See, Light is working on building robots capable of independent thought. Wiley, on the other hand, is developing something he calls the double gear system. As its name suggests, it's a device able to double the speed and power of a robot, but at the cost of damaging its internal systems. With it, Wiley wants to push robots past their limit to make them all heroes. However, that internal systems part is pretty hard to look past, so Light's project is chosen to be funded over Wiley's. But when you think about it, Light's plan is just as dangerous. This man is about to start building self-aware service bots. Sooner or later, one's gonna be like, you know what, Mr. Human? I don't quite like your rules. Then boom, robot apocalypse. But after this major L, Wiley develops a level of hate so powerful, it immediately consumes him. And people, I want to be very clear about this. From the shit Wiley does in this series, when I say hate, I mean it in the strongest degree. You know how you have those cartoon villains who mainly exist to screw with the hero? That is Wiley to Light, and eventually Mega Man. Speaking of Light, while Wiley is out here being salty, this man is in his bag, bro. He starts developing civil service robots that society falls in love with. He wins multiple awards, including the Nobel Prize. And eventually, in 2000X, he finally manages to build the first robot capable of independent thought. DLN-0, Proto-Man, or Blues, as he's known in Japan. By the way, one cool thing that the development team implemented was model numbers for each robot. The beginning acronym is based on the creator, so DLN is Dr. Light numbers. Sadly though, something is wrong with Proto-Man's power core, so Light makes plans to basically do robo-surgery to fix him. However, out of fear that this operation would change who he is, Proto-Man leaves before the necessary fixes can be done. And this is where Wily comes back into the picture. The jealous-ass doctor finds Proto-Man and takes him in to repair him, realizing that this is a Dr. Light creation. For some reason, Proto-Man is cool with letting Wily do the repairs instead, so the guy replaces the solar core that Light used originally with a nuclear one. And he gives him the ability to throw hands. This man really saw a robot with no weapons and said, "Nope, violence." Meanwhile, Light works on the kinks of his solar core, then continues his streak of playing God by building DLN-1, Rock, and DLN-2, Roll. The remake of Mega Man Powered Up, calls him Mega in the manual. But I'm not calling homie Mega, bro. What? Plus, due to different events occurring, Mega Man Powered Up isn't even canon to this timeline. So throughout the video, when he's not Mega Man, I'll call him Rock. Just want to say that now so no one gets confused. Rock and Roll work as his lab and house assistants, and with that success, he built 6 more industrial robots. DLN-3, Cutman, DLN-4, Gutsman, DLN-5, Iceman, DLN-6, Bombman, DLN-7, Flameman, and DLN-8, Electman. In the alternate timeline where Mega Man Powered Up occurs, he also built DLN-9, Oilman, and DLN-10, Time Man. But with their creation, Wily finds his chance to strike, leading us into the first title within this timeline, Mega Man. Alright, before we get into what happens next, can we just take a sec to look at the US box art for this game? Like, I know everybody has talked about it, I know it's a common thing, but hey, it's my turn now. What the hell is this? Now, in the artist's defense, apparently he was given this project with no time and he also didn't see any of the source material. So yeah, I'm sure he was hella confused. Poor guy probably heard that Mega Man's hand could turn into a gun and was like, what? I'm just surprised nobody from the Western Capcom team was like, hey guys, maybe no? Now the European team, not gonna hold you, they were kinda cooking. It's the pose for me. Oh, and one last thing. Did you know the English manual completely botched Mega Man's origin story? It said that Wily was Light's assistant and that the city they lived in was called Monsteropolis. The US team was just saying shit, bro. Anyway, lore. So Wily makes his move and tampers with the 6 industrial robots Light just created to make them go bonkers. They start causing all types of chaos. Not able to stand this because of his strong sense of justice, Rock volunteers to be turned into a fighting robot to stop his brothers. Light accepts and turns him into the blue metal hero Mega Man. But Light is not a fan of this. In the Rockman character collection, a book given to those who entered Mega Man's boss creation contest, there are excerpts written by Light talking about how much this sucked. He sees these robots as his actual children, and the last thing he wanted to do was prepare his son for war so he can go beat up his brothers. Nevertheless, Mega Man heads out to defeat each Robot Master. Once he's done, he heads to Wily's castle to partake in what I like to call the Wily Gauntlet. It pretty much involves him fighting more bosses and the Robot Masters again. This is done in every mainline Mega Man title, so I'd get used to it. But after conquering the gauntlet, he takes on Wily, who's using his Wily machine, cause homeboy can't fight. However, Mega Man beats that too. Wily is left groveling for forgiveness, but since there is no dialogue, Mega Man just silently stares at him. Menacingly! Homeboy was low-key contemplating on whether or not to kill this man. But with that, Mega Man returns home to his family, waiting for the moment the world will need him again, which ends up being a year later in Mega Man 2. Also, remember those boss character creation competitions I mentioned before? This game was the first to have one, and it had a total of 8,370 submissions. Anyway, Wily returns with his own set of Robot Masters. DWN-9, Metal Man, DWN-10, Airman, DWN-11, Bubble Man, DWN-12, Quick Man, DWN-13, Crash Man, DWN-14, Flash Man, DWN-15, Heat Man, and DWN-16, Woodman. And as you probably guessed, DWN stands for Dr. Wily numbers. For some reason he continues from Light's numbers. I guess he didn't want to start from 0? With these newly built Robot Masters, Wily once again plans on dominating the world, but our trusty blue hero Mega Man sets out to stop him. He steamrolls through the Robot Masters, copies their weapons, clears the Wily Gauntlet, then confronts the evil Doctor, who transforms into an alien? Interesting. But Mega Man does his pew pew thing to reveal that the alien is actually a hologram being controlled by Wily. So with another W under his belt, Mega Man gets some time to chill until Wily returns with his antics in Mega Man Dr. Wily's Revenge. Now this is the start of a spin-off series for the Game Boy that was known as the Rockman World series in Japan. Though Capcom didn't directly make the games in this series, they did have a hand in their creation. When it comes to its canonicity, it's weird. In-game, the two series treat themselves as separate sequences of events. The mainline series never directly mentions the events within the World series. However, in Mega Man & Bass's database, there are entries for the bosses within the World series. Doesn't really confirm that it's canon, but from what I can tell, most of the fanbase agrees that these games happen in between the mainline games. As for the plot, Wily returns with Cutman, Iceman, Fireman, and Electman from the first Mega Man game. Our boy in blue does his thing and defeats them, then heads to the evil Doctor's castle only to find Bubbleman, Quickman, Flashman, and Heatman waiting for him. By the way, this is a staple of the Rockman World games. They usually reuse bosses from the mainline Mega Man titles. After taking down the Robot Masters, he's confronted by MKN-1, Anchor, a robot built by Wily specifically to kill Mega Man. This starts a new model line within the series, the Mega Man Killer Numbers. Yeah, Wily was so done with Mega Man shit, he made a whole new line of robots tailor-made to kill him. But Mega Man still manages to come out on top, and takes Anchor's Mirror Buster after. He then heads to Wily's station in space, and beats him too using the same buster. With the day saved, our blue hero returns home as the station is destroyed. But even with the Doctor down, again, Mega Man remains vigilant for the next time he may rise up. So after another brief period of peace, Wily's annoying ass returns in Mega Man 3, but this time he's actually here for good, or rather he claims he's here for good. He reunites with Light for the first time since their college days, in an effort to build one giant peacekeeping robot they name Gamma. They get far, but to complete it, they need 8 energy elements that are scattered on different planets, so they build 8 new Robot Masters to collect them. DWN-17, Needleman, DWN-18, Magnet Man, DWN-19, Gemini Man, DWN-20, Hardman, DWN-21, Top Man, DWN-22, Snake Man, DWN-23, Sparkman, and DWN-24, Shadow Man. Yeah, even though these guys were built by Light and Wily, they're still referred to as Wily numbers. So the Robot Masters are sent to these planets, but they start going haywire. It's up to Mega Man and his new partner, Rush, to defeat them and collect the energy elements. And yes, this is the game where Rush made his debut. See, before in Mega Man 2, there were these items dubbed Items 1, 2, and 3 that helped Mega Man traverse through stages. In this game, they just combined those items into Rush, and he remains as Mega Man's partner throughout the series. This is also the game where sliding was introduced. It added more possibilities for Mega Man movement-wise. There was a point where they thought about adding crouching, but the team agreed that the player would barely see the height difference in buster shots, so it made no sense. So now we have sliding. Anyway, throughout his quest, he's confronted by this mysterious robot who calls himself Breakman. Eventually he does his thing, collects the elements, but when he gets back to the lab, Light's all like, "Oh no, Mega Man! Right after we received the last element, Wily ran and stole Gamma!" And Mega Man's like, "Bro, y'all are the same age. Why didn't you stop him?" So he heads over to Wily's castle, goes through the Wily Gauntlet, and takes down Gamma and Wily. Breakman then pulls up to save him while the castle crumbles. But Wily isn't that fortunate. He ain't dead though, he escapes in his UFO. But after Mega Man regains consciousness, Light hears the whistle that Breakman has been doing throughout the game, then reveals that Breakman was actually his older brother Proto Man this whole time. With that, Mega Man runs to try and catch up to him, but instead, he sees a vision of him in the sky. On to the next title in the series, Rockman World 2. So, quick fun fact, outside of Japan, they used Roman numerals to differentiate this series from the NES series. So you have Mega Man 2, the number, and Mega Man 2 with the Roman numerals. This is why from now on, I'll just be calling these titles by their original names, Rockman World. I don't know who thought the Roman numeral thing was a good idea, but they were wrong. Also, quick development note. In Mega Man The Official Complete Works, Inafune mentions how they hired another company to work on this game, and immediately regretted it. They just didn't get it. So after this game, they returned to the company that made the first one. Anyway, Wily hatches a whole new scheme to steal a time machine known as a Time Skimmer. He plans to use it to change the past. After stealing it from the Time-Space Research Laboratory, Light, Mega Man, and Rush quickly begin their investigation. Thanks to Rush, they find out that of course, Wily stole it. So Mega Man and his pup head out to stop him. But before he can do that, he has to take down Metal Man, Air Man, Crash Man, and Wood Man. Meanwhile, Wily finds out that the time skimmer is only capable of going to the future and back, not the past. So he alters his plan a little, and goes to the future, 37.426 years in the future to be exact. There he finds a much more peaceful version of his world. So peaceful that future Wily is actually done being evil. Future Mega Man isn't even Mega Man anymore, because he doesn't need his weapons. But even after seeing all this peace, Wily still decides to ruin it by going to his future self and deadass being like, "Yo, being good is for pussies! Is that really what I amount to? A pussy?" You've got to have some crazy levels of hate if you're willing to ruin the future just to mess with your scientific rival. And sadly, future Wily falls for the bullshit. The guy goes evil, and together with his past self, they steal future Rock, and they modify him into an evil fighting robot they call Quint. In the present, Mega Man manages to defeat the first 4 Robot Masters. He then heads to Wily's castle, only to run into Needle Man, Magnet Man, Hard Man, and Top Man. After taking them out, he faces Quint. Our boy gives him the work, so Quint flees, leaving behind his weapon, a weird pogo stick called a Sakugarne, or Sakugarn. With Wily's trump card out the way, Mega Man heads to the Wily station and beats the Doctor yet again. Then he takes a little break, until Mega Man 4. This game takes place a year after the events of Mega Man 3, and it's also the game where Eddie makes his debut. This is another one of Mega Man's support bots. He gives him items at random. Plot-wise, it's been a minute since anyone has heard from Wily, so it's just kind of assumed that he's dead. Then one day, Light receives a message from a young scientific genius named Dr. Cossack. He calls Light trash, and to prove it, he sends 8 of his own Robot Masters to defeat Mega Man. DWN-25, Brightman, DWN-26, Toadman, DWN-27, Drillman, DWN-28, Pharaohman, DWN-29, Ringman, DWN-30, Dustman, DWN-31, Diveman, and DWN-32, Skullman. Fun fact about Skullman, he became the team's favorite boss in this title. They loved him so much, they recreated a whole stage just for him. So equipped with this new Mega Buster that allows him to charge his shots, Mega Man takes down the Robot Masters one by one, then beats Cossack. But then Proto Man appears with Cossack's daughter, Kalinka. She reveals that her father is not the bad guy here. Wily kidnapped her and forced him to do this. With that, the evil Doctor pops in, and reprimands Proto Man for betraying him. Then he's like, "Yo, Mega Bitch! See me in my new castle! You won't!" So as you would guess, Mega Man infiltrates the Doctor's castle, conquers the gauntlet, and then beats Wily once again. But the Doctor escapes as his base self-destructs. Afterward, Mega Man returns home to his family. Now in between Mega Man 4 and 5, we have Wily and Light's Rock Board, that's Paradise, and Rockman World 3. Not 100% sure which order these games go in, but we'll start with Wily and Light's Rock Board. Not much to say here, it was just Monopoly, but Mega Man. They also introduced reggae in this game, so that's cool. Then Wily continues his antics in Rockman World 3. The city is hit with sudden weather abnormalities and other issues, which gets everyone in a panic. Knowing this is Wily's fault, Light sends Mega Man to handle it. He first faces the brought back Gemini Man, Snake Man, Spark Man, and Shadow Man. Then he infiltrates Wily's castle and takes on Drill Man, Dust Man, Dive Man, and Skull Man. Following this, he's met by the second Mega Man killer, MKN2, Punk. But this guy is no match for our boy. After he beats him, he takes his Screw Crusher weapon and uses it to defeat Wily again. Now, onto Mega Man 5. This title takes place 2 months after Mega Man 4, so technically Rockboard and Rockman World 3 took place in a 2-month time span. Also, this is the first game that places us in the year 20XCX. An army of robots, seemingly led by Proto Man, attacks the city and kidnaps Dr. Light. So Dr. Cossack helps Mega Man out by upgrading his Mega Buster and giving him the support bot Beat. Before this, Light and Cossack were working on this robot together. With that, Mega Man proceeds to take down a new set of Robot Masters, DWN-33, Gravity Man, DWN-34, Wave Man, DWN-35, Stone Man, DWN-36, Gyro Man, DWN-37, Star Man, DWN-38, Charge Man, DWN-39, Napalm Man, and DWN-40, Crystal Man. Afterward, he moves to Proto Man's castle, but once he confronts him, the real Proto Man shows up, revealing that this imposter is actually someone named Dark Man. Wily created him to frame Proto Man, cause he's still salty about him betraying him back in Mega Man 4. Following Dark Man's defeat, Wily pulls up, and dares Mega Man to come save Light. But the Doctor still hasn't learned from any of his L's, cause our blue hero waltz right in the castle, stomps on the Wily gauntlet, then beats the guy. Then as his castle collapses, Proto Man saves both his father and little bro, before the place crushes them. Afterward, Mega Man rests up, until his next adventure, in Mega Man Soccer. Maybe. See, Mega Man the official complete works states this happens a few months after Mega Man 4. However, as we know, Mega Man 5 takes place merely 2 months after Mega Man 4. I don't know about y'all, but I take a few as more than 2, so it feels right to place the game right here after Mega Man 5. If you have a better idea for where this goes, by all means let me know in the comments. Anyway, in this title, Wily decides he has a bone to pick with soccer for some reason. He sends revived Robot Masters from past titles to attack soccer fields all over the world, so it's up to Mega Man to save soccer. Not much else to this game, to be honest. Next, Rockman World 4. Sometime later, Mega Man and the fam end up attending the World Robot Exposition, where scientists show off their greatest robotic creations. But Wily pulls up and ruins the party with a special electric pulse, which puts the robots in the expo under his control. Mega Man would have been affected, but thanks to his, and I quote, conscience of justice circuitry, he's good. Yeah, Mega Man was straight up built to do what's right. Kinda sad when you remember that Light's whole thing was to build robots with independent thought. Meanwhile, Mega Man over here has no choice but to be a hero. So like the past Rockman World games, Mega Man faces the 8 recycled Robot Masters, which is a huge continuity error because that means these Robot Masters were in the Expo. Why would Wily's robots be in a Robot Expo? He's evil. Anyway, Mega Man takes out the first 4 Masters but is then confronted by a new model in the Mega Man Killer series, MKN3, Ballad. Our boy beats him, but he escapes. He reappears after the last 4 Robot Masters are defeated, but Mega Man beats him yet again, taking his Ballad Cracker in the process. He then closes in on Wily, who's in a new battleship, and foils his schemes yet again. Like he always does, Wily says to place the blow, but surprisingly, thanks to Ballad, Mega Man escapes unharmed. Now on to Mega Man's next adventure, in Rockman World 5, the last game in the World series. And unlike its predecessors, this title actually has its own bosses. In this one, the world is at peace once again because Wily has been quiet for a minute. Then one day while on a stroll with Roll, Mega Man is attacked by a new robot, SRN-1, Terra, and his Mega Buster does nothing to him. So Terra mops the floor with him, and following this, the world gets invaded by a new group of robots dubbed the Star Droids. Along with Terra, there is SRN-2, Mercury, SRN-3, Venus, SRN-4, Mars, SRN-5, Jupiter, SRN-6, Saturn, SRN-7, Uranus, SRN-8, Pluto, and SRN-9, Neptune. And look, the Star Droids even got their own model acronyms. So Light sends Mega Man to travel the galaxy to stop this new threat. But before he does, he equips him with something stronger than his Mega Buster, the Mega Arm. Now he can just shoot his fist at people. Light also grants him a new support bot, exclusive to this game, Tango. With that, Mega Man travels the galaxy taking down each of the Star Droids. Once Terra is beaten, Wily shows up in his Wily Star looking for smoke. Turns out he's the one who awakened the Star Droids before all this. Why? To fail at taking over the world, of course. Once Mega Man enters the base, he goes through a special Wily gauntlet that involves the previous exclusive Rockman World bosses, Anchor, Quint, Punk, and Ballad, and a rematch with the Star Droids. Then Wily catches the work. But this time, the Doctor has one more trick up his sleeve, Sunstar, the ancient doomsday weapon bent on controlling the universe and destroying all inferior life forms. So, humans. Wily sicks him on Mega Man, but the dude attacks the Doctor instead. So Wily talks his shit, then dips. Now it's up to our blue hero to stop Sunstar, which he does. Afterward, Mega Man is like, hey man, I know this ain't your fault, bro. Wily be trippin'. Why don't you come back to the lab and my pops can fix you right up? And Sunstar, surprised by Mega Man's kindness, is like, but why? We are robots who are only meant to fight. Why would you help me? And Mega Man's protagonist ass is like, bro, screw all that. I only fight when the world needs my help. Plus, humans aren't that bad. If we all relax and stop whiling, we can live peacefully. Sunstar is taken aback by these words, but unfortunately, he doesn't have the chance to do much more because he's about to blow up. So Mega Man leaves as the ancient weapon self-destructs, taking the Wily Star down with him. And once Mega Man returns home, Wily pulls up and tries to kill him, but he fails, and after groveling, he dips, only for Mega Man to chase after him, thus putting an end to the Rockman World series. However, there's another game made by the guys who developed most of this series, Mega Man The Wily Wars, or Rockman Mega World. This was essentially a remake of Mega Man 1, 2, and 3, where Wily goes back in time again to try and screw with the Blue Bomber. So Light sends him to the past too, where he must relive his past adventures. The only new content that really came from this compilation were the special Robot Masters Wily created as a last resort. WWN-1, Buster Rod G, WWN-2, Mega Water S, and WWN-3, Hyperstorm H. And fun fact, these guys were based on Journey to the West. However, Mega Man takes them down, only for Wily to return with the bullshit in yet another Mega Man spin-off, Super Rockman Adventure. Fun fact, in Inafune's opinion, this is one of the worst games in the series. This is the point where Mega Man was being sold to the lowest bidder, and apparently, the one who was originally in charge of this project quit at the last minute, so it was practically thrown at Inafune. Unlike previous Mega Man titles, it alternated between animated cutscenes, choice-making events, and a first-person shooter mode. I didn't get to play this game, but this shit already sounds like a clusterfuck. As for the story, Wily ends up discovering a supercomputer named Ra-Moon, within mysterious ruins in the Amazon. This device not only revives his robot masters from Mega Man 2 and 3, he also notices that it releases strong electromagnetic waves. So of course, Wily makes this the backbone of his new plan to take over the world. Thanks to him, the waves get stronger, and begin to affect technology around the world. It eventually puts Roll in a coma, so Light immunizes Mega Man and his brothers, the Dr. Light numbers from the first game, then together, they put a stop to Wily's plans and save Roll. Now we can get back into the main plot. Next up, we have Mega Man 6. A year before this game's events, the World Robot Alliance was created to counteract Dr. Wily's schemes. Crazy to think that it took the world this long to come up with a team meant to stop Wily. They really left everything up to Mega Man. So thanks to this new coalition, things stay chill. Then with the financial backing of the mysterious X Foundation, the first annual robot tournament is announced to decide who the best peacekeeping robot is. But right before the tournament begins, Mr. X, the leader of the X Foundation, disrupts the events and states that he managed to control all 8 robot participants. DWN-41, Blizzard Man, DWN-42, Centaur Man, DWN-43, Flame Man, DWN-44, Night Man, DWN-45, Plant Man, DWN-46, Tomahawk Man, DWN-47, Wind Man, and DWN-48, Yamato Man. Also, fun fact, this game was the first in the series that took boss design entries from overseas. The theme for this game was "The world is our stage," so they wanted each boss to represent a different place on the globe. Anyway, Mega Man asks why Mr. X is doing this. Why is he choosing to be evil? And the mysterious scientist tells him that he's been like this. This whole time, Wily worked for him. However, now that he has the 8 strongest robots in the world, he doesn't need them. So I'm sure you can guess what happens next. Mega Man beats the Robot Masters, copies their weapons, then conquers the Wily Gauntlet, revealing that Mr. X was Wily this whole time. Who would have guessed? But get this, they finally arrest Wily after this. About goddamn time! However, in the next chapter, we'll find out that it takes more than that to keep the Doctor down. So Wily's in prison. Yay! But merely 6 months after his arrest, he's broken out by 4 of his robots. DWN-49, Freeze Man, DWN-40, Junk Man, DWN-51, Burst Man, and DWN-52, Cloud Man. The World Robot Alliance is already screwing up. Mega Man is sent to investigate, which leads to Mega Man 7. On his quest, he runs into the dude who will become his arch nemesis, Bass, or Forte. Funny thing about Bass, the person who did the pixel art for him, Hayato Kaji, talked about how it was mad hard to animate him because his head was so weird to work with. But Bass and his dog Treble are after Wily as well, so for now, Mega Man sees him as a teammate. After beating the 4 Robot Masters who broke the scientist out, Mega Man finds out that Wily attacked the Robot Museum and stole a Guts Man. Then a new set of Wily numbers emerge. DWN-53, Spring Man, DWN-54, Slash Man, DWN-55, Shade Man, and DWN-56, Turbo Man. Mega Man goes after them, but in the process, he finds an injured Bass. Our hero tells him to go to Light, and he'll fix him right up. But when he returns home later, he finds the place in ruins. Bass destroyed it and stole the blueprints for Mega Man's Super Adapter. This is a device that allows Rush and Mega Man to combine into Super Mega Man. It's a form that's a combination of the 2 Rush transformations introduced in Mega Man 6. After finding that out, Mega Man gets a call from Wily, where he reveals that Bass and Treble have been working for him this whole time. They tricked Mega Man into thinking they were friends. So Mega Man's like, "Oh, word? It's like that? Heard you." Then he stomps out the Wily Gauntlet, which includes a fight against the Gutsman Wily stole and Super Bass, and beats the Doctor once again. But Mega Man's pissed. He points his Mega Buster at the man and says, Nah, Wily, it's clipped. The World Robot Alliance couldn't handle you, so I'ma do what I should have done years ago." And Wily's like, Hey, wait! You're a robot! You can't kill me! It's against your programming! Now, depending on which version of the game you played, whether it be Japanese or English, Mega Man goes about this in 2 different ways. In the Japanese version, Mega Man pauses, contemplating what the doctor said. But in the American version, homie straight up says, "I am more than a robot!" this boy was really about to kill Wily. But either way, Base saves Wily before anything can happen, and the game ends with Mega Man returning home, conflicted about his choice. Following this, Mega Man enters the intense racing show Battle and Chase, in Mega Man Battle and Chase. The winner gets 10 million Zenny, which Mega Man plans to use to fix Light's computer. After dealing with Wily and Base, our boy manages to win, but Light fixes his computer by himself, so they use the money to throw Mega Man a big party. After that successful stint of racing, Mega Man joins Proto Man and Base in the first arcade game in the series, Rockman the Power Battle. Now, here's the thing about this game. The creators themselves has said that they see this title and its sequel as taking place in a parallel universe, so it's not in this continuity. It's set in stone that it's not in this continuity. But then Donchi, why are you talking about it? Well, two things happen in this game and its sequel that hint towards the Mega Man X part of this timeline, so I thought it would be a good idea to just add it in for the extra lore. Plus, both these games are in the Complete Works book, so I kind of feel like I have to talk about them. Anyway, in the Power Battle, Wily's annoying ass brings back 18 more Robot Masters from the past to, of course, rule the world. Mega Man and Proto Man set out to stop him, but Base just joins in because he wants Wily to see that he is the only robot he needs. So in this title, each character has their own ending. We can start with Proto Man because he doesn't do much. He just watches as Wily's castle burns down. Then the game's all like, Proto Man was a robot built by Light, but is he friend or foe? Proto Man, it's been mad games. Just help your little bro out. Nobody said you gotta chill with Light. In Base's ending, Base saves Wily and is all like, see Doctor, now you know who the strongest is. But Wily blasts back like, yeah, Base, you idiot! You still can't beat Mega Man! You're trash! But no matter. The new robot I'm working on will blow you both away. Then Base gets all mad like, screw you, Doctor! All you make is junk anyway. But Base, wouldn't that make you junk too? In Mega Man's ending, Light mentions that he knows what robots need to prevent crises like these in the future. They need to be able to make decisions for themselves. Once again, Light, think about what you're saying here. Is that really what we need right now? But after saying this, he says that he wants to do more AI research, and him saying this might be alluding to his later creation of the first robot with free will, X. And that bit Wily talked about might be alluding to his later creation of Zero. Regardless, the whole scene ends with Mega Man saying he will fight for everyone's future. Now back to the main continuity. Next up is Mega Man 8. So one thing this game tried to do was have animated and voiced cutscenes. Sounds great, right? Well...
You must recover all the energy immediately, Mega Man.
But where is Dr. Wily?
That's a good question.
Yeah, the voice acting was pretty bad. I'm surprised nobody told them to at least do it over again or just scrap it, but yeah. Anyway, somewhere in space, a good robot and an evil robot end their epic skirmish with one final clash. It knocks them out, and they both fall down to Earth. In the middle of a fight with Base, Mega Man is told by Light about what just happened, so he heads to the deserted island where the two robots crash landed. But somehow, Wily got there first, and he managed to find this weird purple orb. Mega Man would give chase, but he stopped by the body of the good robot that crash landed. Feeling bad for the guy, he asks Light to come pick him up for repairs. Then he sets his sights back on Wily, but the crazy doctor is ready with the new squad of Wily numbers. DWN-57, Tengu Man, DWN-60, Clown Man, DWN-62, Frost Man, and DWN-63, Grenade Man, each of them infused with energy from that orb. Mega Man takes them out and collects the energy so Light can take a look at it. When he returns home, Light warns that Wily cannot get his hands on this, lest he destroy the world. Then the damaged robot Mega Man found wakes up, spots the energy, gets pissed, and dips. Mega Man goes out to find him and is forced to fight him in order to calm him down. But luckily, after he ends up getting captured by one of Wily's robots, the space bot saves him, proving that he truly is one of the good guys. His name is Duo, and he tells Mega Man that the energy Wily is using is known as evil energy. Yup, just evil energy. We could even get a name, Capcom. Duo states that he has been traveling the universe to destroy this energy, because if he doesn't, it will consume everything. So Mega Man's like, well, can't have that. And the two robots agree to work together to stop Wily. And just in time too, because Wily has 4 more Robot Masters ready for the smoke. DWN-58, Astro Man, DWN-59, Sword Man, DWN-61, Search Man, and DWN-64, Aquaman. Mega Man goes after them while Duo hunts down the remaining evil energy on the planet. After the last Wily number is taken out, he heads to his tower to partake in the usual gauntlet. Base gets involved too, so he catches the work as well. But after defeating Wily yet again, Mega Man is consumed by evil energy. Duo arrives just in time and manages to secure him. Then with the help of Proto Man, he's taken home. Once he wakes up, he's given a thank you note by Duo. Then Mega Man rests up until his next adventure. But in a parallel universe, Duo returns for another adventure in Rockman 2, The Power Fighters. And just so there is no confusion, yes, this is indeed the sequel to Rockman The Power Battle. Don't know why they put 2 after Rockman, and I don't know why they called it The Power Fighters instead of The Power Battle, but go off, Capcom. In this title, Light discovers a mysterious energy source from space dubbed Alien Energy. But Wily revives more robots from the past and steals the energy for himself. So Mega Man, Proto Man, and Duo go after Wily to stop him. And Base joins because he's still pissed that Wily dares to use robots other than him. Similar to its predecessor, each character has their own ending in this game. And to be honest, they're each kinda wild. So, in Base's ending, we get the usual banter between him and Wily. But the Doctor takes it a step further and reveals that Base was an accident. His idea of Base came about because Wily was trying to use Mega Man as a template for his next creation. But in the process, he accidentally created Basenium, which he says is currently the most powerful energy source in the world. And from Basenium came Base. Oh, and this is probably a good time to mention that Mega Man is actually made out of an alloy called ceratanium, or ceramic titanium. It's pretty much lighter and more durable titanium. Should have mentioned that earlier, but I honestly forgot. Anyway, after Base's whole backstory is revealed, Wily states that he learned from his mistakes and has created a whole new robot more powerful than Base and Mega Man. And this time, he doesn't just allude to it, he full-on shows Zero in his glass case. Well, Zero's shadow, at least. He then says that this project will take a while to complete, and he's also working on a whole new project along with it. It's believed that this other project is the Maverick virus, which also becomes important in Mega Man X. Now I know this all happens in a parallel universe, but you see why I wanted to add this to the video. Anyway, in Duo's ending, he and Light just talk about the alien energy, and Duo nods to Mega Man 8 by saying that helping them this time repaid his debt. In Proto Man's ending, Light confronts him and pleads for him to come in for repairs, but Proto Man is all like, "Don't worry about my problems, Doctor. I know my body better than anyone. Now I gotta go, cuz I've got things to do. Shit like staring off into the distance while my scarf waves in the wind. Later." And finally, in Mega Man's ending, Wily ends up coming at Mega Man, calling him a hypocrite for claiming he fights for peace when all he does is destroy robots. And this shakes Mega Man to his core. Look at his face, bro! He's even like, "Oh god, you're right! I could have negotiated with them at least! I really am just like Wily!" But his friends show up out of nowhere and make him feel better with that good old friendship talk no jutsu. And Wily uses that chance to escape. But the crazy thing about this is that Wily's not wrong. Now back to the main timeline once again. Next is Mega Man and Base. Really cool fact about this game, Inafune actually hired manga artists to draw the boss characters for this title. He also got Ariga to do the cover art. And kudos to them because I realized that this game is the reason for a lot of my favorite designs within the Mega Man series. All this shit looks clean. As for the plot, this game takes place a year after Mega Man 8. Wily just finished building a new castle to carry out his schemes, but out of nowhere, a robot named King commandeers it, wishing to rule the planet for himself. He believes that robots are above humans, so they should be in control. And Light was over here trying to give robots independent thought. You see how easily this can backfire? So the robot kicks Wily out of his own crib, then steals the data from both his and Light's robots. Following this, he infiltrates the robot museum to steal more data. Proto Man attempts to stop him, but tell me how he doesn't only get washed, but King cuts him in half. This dude is real! Now the new big boss has enough data to build his own robot army. And this introduces a new series of boss to the series, the King numbers. KGN1, Dynamo Man, KGN2, Cold Man, KGN3, Ground Man, KGN4, Pirate Man, KGN5, Burner Man, and KGN6, Magic Man. Tengu Man and Astro Man from Mega Man 8 also join the army cause why not? With nowhere else to go, Wily asks his old friend Light to help. And though Wily has proven time and time again that he cannot be trusted, Light helps him anyway because they can't have this new guy ruling the world. So they send Mega Man and Base to save the day. After taking down the robot army, they confront King and beat him thanks to the help of Proto Man. Yeah, don't worry, he's good. He does end up knocking himself out though, because he uses something called the Big Bang Strike to take out King's shield. But after defeating him, King shows that he has a heart. He teleports Proto Man to safety. Then Mega Man tries to get him to come to Light's lab, where he can get the repairs he needs. But King says that if anyone tampers with him other than Wily, he'll explode, revealing that Wily is the one who created him. So this whole plan was all Wily. Can't trust this man for shit. Then as if on cue, Wily appears asking what the hell is going on. There's an enemy in front of him. He should be fighting. And poor King is like, I don't understand. Why must we robots fight each other for the sake of humans? Nevertheless, King is remotely repaired by Wily and is forced to battle Mega Man and Bass again. The Robo Duo wins, and King begs him to stop Wily, so they beat the Wily Gauntlet and take out the Doctor. Afterward, Mega Man is left feeling down that yet another robot had to be destroyed by his hands, but he later receives a letter from King stating that everything is alright. Bass, on the other hand, is mad because Wily plotted against him again, but Wily says he just wants to see if King was stronger than him. Proto Man later finds plans for a King too, and destroys it. Then he gives Bass a whole speech about how he'll never beat Mega Man, cause he has nothing to fight for. But Bass disregards the whole thing by saying, "Screw you, prick! All I want is Mega Man's life. That's what I'm fighting for." But to Bass's surprise, he ends up teaming up with Mega Man again in the next title, Rockman and Forte, Mirai Kara no Chosensha. So this is another game that had its canonicity questioned because it's one of those Mega Man license games. However, not only is it mentioned in the R20 Rockman and Rockman X Complete Works book, but it's also referenced in Mega Man ZX Advent, a game that is way further down the line in like the Mega Man Zero part of this timeline. With those two connections, it wouldn't feel right not to add it. So, here it is. Also, though this game may seem like a sequel to Mega Man and Bass, it actually continues from the plot of Rockman World 2. And one last thing I want to know. The game says that these events take place in 2000X, but that is most likely an error, because Bass is in this game, and he wasn't made until 20XCX. Just want to clear that up in case people who played this game were confused. Anyway, plot. A new robot calling himself Rockman Shadow attacks Symphony City with a whole new army of robots dubbed the Dimensions. Dongan Man, Conro Man, Aircon Man, Komuso Man, the Clockman, and Compass Man. Light sends Mega Man to look into this, while Wily tells Bass to do the same. They yet again put their differences aside to stop this new threat. Once they get to and beat Rockman Shadow, he reveals that he was a failed prototype of Quint. Yeah, remember in Rockman World 2, when Wily went to the future to alter that version of Rockman? This is the prototype. After being thrown away, the prototype rebuilt himself, and became a problem in his time. So he returned to the past in order to find someone strong enough to stop him, and now that he did, he can die happy. Following this, things stay peaceful for a good amount of time, but that peace is cut short when robots start going crazy again. This takes us into Mega Man 9. Everyone blames a robot problem on Dr. Wily, but in response, Wily sends a mass television broadcast revealing that the robots going haywire were made by Light. He even releases his bank info so the public can send him money to build an army strong enough to stop the rampaging robots. As an ex-convict, Wily is wild for this one. Mega Man is sent to look into this, but while on his adventure, Light is freaking arrested. They wasted no time taking him in. So like always, Mega Man must defeat 8 new Robot Masters before he can get to Wily. These guys are DLN-65, Concrete Man, DLN-66, Tornado Man, DLN-67, Splash Woman, DLN-68, Plug Man, DLN-69, Jewel Man, DLN-70, Hornet Man, DLN-71, Magma Man, and DLN-72, Galaxy Man. On his quest, he finds out these robots were in the process of getting decommissioned. They reached their government expiration date, so Wily used this as his chance to reprogram them to work for him. To save his robot brethren, Mega Man conquers the Wily Gauntlet in his castle, then beats the evil Doctor once again. But the guy tricks our boy into thinking that Light's in the next room. This traps him. Luckily, his big bro Proto Man does what he does best, and rescues him before the place self-destructs. Later, Light is freed, and he finds uses for the robots who were about to retire. Sometime after this, a robotic virus dubbed Roboenza sweeps the globe. Roll ends up getting infected, and for a month, no cure is discovered. Eventually, the infected robots start causing chaos. Wily, who's in the process of building a cure, gets attacked by some of the infected, and they steal the parts he needs. So the Doctor goes to Light asking for help again, and the gullible man agrees. Even though Wily framed him in the last game, Light sends Mega Man to retrieve the stolen parts, and Proto Man joins him because this job is too big for just one super fighting robot. And this takes us into Mega Man 10. This time, the Robot Masters they're forced to face are DWN-73, Blade Man, DWN-74, Pump Man, DWN-75, Commando Man, DWN-76, Chill Man, DWN-77, Sheep Man, DWN-78, Strike Man, DWN-79, Nitro Man, and DWN-80, Solar Man. In the process, Wily manages to create a prototype cure for Roll. But after beating the last Robot Master, Mega Man gets infected with Robo-Enza. Then Wily reveals that the virus was created by him, cause who else would do some wild shit like this? So Rogue gives her brother the prototype cure, and he heads out to give the doctor the business. He takes on the Wily Gauntlet, then beats the man who ironically got sick himself. So Mega Man takes him to the hospital to heal, but the doctor ends up escaping a couple of days later. And before we continue, I just wanted to mention that this game had extra stages you could download that featured the Mega Man killers, Anchor, Punk, and Ballad. But now, on to the last game within the classic Mega Man timeline, Mega Man 11. Sometime after the events of Mega Man 10, Wily randomly remembers his double gear system. As a reminder, this is the project that he was working on when he was younger, the one that led to him hating Light with all of his soul. He then steals DWN-81, Blockman, DWN-82, Fuseman, DWN-83, Blastman, DWN-84, Acidman, DWN-85, Tundraman, DWN-86, Torchman, DWN-87, Impactman, and DWN-88, Bounceman, from Light, and enhances them using his system. To help Mega Man stop them, Light installs a prototype of the double gear system. Then our boy proceeds to defeat this title's Robot Masters, and along the way, he finds out more about Light's and Wily's past. Once he beats Wily for the final time, or at least final time that we know of, Wily once again hits Mega Man with the truth, saying he only won because he was using a system that he created. But Light comes in to back his son up. In an effort to get Wily to atone for his crimes, he tells the doctor that this is all proof that their technology can do more together. But Wily is too lost in his hate. He refuses to work with Light and leaves. With that, our heroes return home, putting a close to this chapter in the Mega Man timeline. Friends, thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. I'm sorry this video took so long. So many things have been happening in my life, but good things. Good things. You know, my plate is full, and as I've been told, I can't complain about my plate being full if I wanted to eat. And I'm trying to eat, bro. I'm trying to eat so I can make more videos for y'all. Anyway, like I said, expect the next Honest Gaming History to be about Mega Man X, just X. The game is called Mega Man X, but I'm pretty sure his name is just X. But yeah, we're going to be covering X in the next Honest Gaming History. Be there. It's going to be dope. But if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like. In the comments below, let me know how you felt about it. Let me know how you felt about the style. And of course, drop whoever else you want to see me cover in Honest Gaming History like this. I know sometimes it takes me like even years to get to some of your responses. But hey, man, it's on the list. I got y'all. I promise. Subscribe if you want to see more of me, and definitely if you want to see more of this Mega Man Honest Gaming History series, and hit that bell to stay notified of whenever I upload new content. I also do manhwa reactions, manga reviews, comic book reviews, a bunch of stuff. Of course, shout out to my lovely guildmates. Thank you guys so much for all the support you give each month. For those that are not aware, you could join my guild on my website. There you get the uncensored manhwa reactions, some exclusive content, discounts on my merch. By the way, check out my merch in the link below as well, literally on the same website as the guild. But yeah, bunch of cool stuff there. I'm also doing my solo leveling reaction for anybody who really wants to see me react to solo leveling. It's not going to be, you know, blind like it was before, but I'm looking at it with a different head, and it's cool. It's cool. I'm having a good time. I'm also planning to do a static reaction on there. I can only do that on the website because we're going to be watching the cartoon together. But yeah, that's going to be part of a bigger video later on. Don't want to get too much into that. Actually, I think I already mentioned it. The static retrospective. Yeah, y'all know about that. But yeah, with all that being said, thanks for watching. Be easy, stay lit, stay healthy out there. You look good. And don't forget to smile today. Peace out, y'all.